hair down for a good minute. Oh my goodness, maybe not. That is some scary hair. That is hair that has not been brushed this morning. That's hair that's woken up at 6 o'clock and thrown up and out the door. 1 second. I'm just gonna go and feed my chickens before they start whining out to me. 1 second. I'll be back. Oh my goodness, it's so cold outside. Who would have thought? Oh, good morning, everyone. I'm coming to you from my workshop, Andulairah, looking in fine form again. Oh, now I'm hoping that my sound is okay because um, I've had an issue with uh, because my computer is going out, like basically out of fashion and out of sorts. It's just not working. My sound is playing up ever since I accidentally tipped water in the speaker part, and ever since that time, I have had no choice but to use external speakers because I have no sound, like without the external speakers. Now, let me just make sure that this is. Hey, Brat. Hey, ballerina boy. Oh my gosh. I have not seen you forever, honey. So I'm hoping that this is okay. So, I hope you guys all around the world are in good spirits, and I'm coming to you from my workshop today because it is so cold outside and I've been doing work in here, and it's such a nice environment, or at least I feel there's really good energy in here because this is where all my creativity is happening. This is where it's at, and I do my goldsmithing over here, that side. Maybe you can see my welder tool down there. And I'm doing my soaps, which you can see. And I just want to say thank you so much for you guys for all the lovely comments and your orders for the soap. And I hope you love it. It's so addictive for me. Like, it's something, I don't know, maybe it's a drag for other people, but I love soap making. And I've made so much. So I've got this one down here. Then I've got a whole bunch on this other side of the wall. And it initially started because my mother has this, or there is this community like farmers market thing coming up, and she said, "Oh, why don't you do something?" Because you know she says I need to get out into the community more. But me, I like my own space, and I just do as I do. And I said, okay, I'll make some soap, and so it started from there, and it's just kind of snowballed. And being that I'm a perfumer, I'm somebody that understands smell and scent, and I do my own um, custom bespoke Middle Eastern blends on my website, Ataluan. And, I thought, you know what, why not apply that to my soaps? Because I understand that not everyone can afford those Middle Eastern perfumes. They are expensive, and that's because of the oils themselves and what is in them. If you know about oils, you'll know that agarwood or dehn el oud or rose oil, um, they're so expensive, and when you put them in a condensed or um, concentrated amount in perfume oil, because this isn't spray, this is not perfume spray, this is oil. It lasts for years and it's expensive. Bottom line, it is expensive. So at least with soap, I can still incorporate these really exotic, unique smells, combining it with local ingredients and keeping the price down low. So right now, most of my soap, this soap here is selling for 4.95 per bar, so approximately about 100 grams. And I've got one soap that is not on my website right now, but I will later on put it up. It's actually 90% shea butter, so or shea butter, however you want to pronounce it. 90%. So it is like the most thickest, fattiest, richest soap, and it's with aniseed and what else did I use? My gosh, come on! Oh, wintergreen, wintergreen. So those smells, obviously, aniseed is like licorice smelling, and wintergreen is like tiger balm or like deep heat. If you've ever used these, if you're a sporty type person, the smell is, my gosh, it just smells like, it's so weird. It's like a menthol licorice. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what it smells like. And it's so thick and it's so white and creamy, and that one's going to be a little bit more expensive. So that's going to be about, I haven't worked out the price yet, but around 8.95. So I'm going to calculate exactly how much it cost me to make that soap, and then I'm looking at the figures now. It's probably going to be about 7.95 to 8.95 per bar. I'm not sure yet. I have to work it out. But the others are 4.95 because that's my standard recipe. But using so much shea butter, and if I was to do, because I'm wanting to do a Castile soap, which is pure cold pressed olive oil, that's going to be up around that price range as well. So, like I think it all kind of varies with what types of recipes you use. And it's been such a great process. Sorry, my nose is running. And so I hope you guys love it. And, um, I thank you for your support with that. I'm glad you're enjoying, the process with me. And, just your honest feedback would be fantastic. And don't be polite to me. Just tell me what you think. And if you want custom blends, then let me know. And, we can kind of play around with it together. I also have, for those of you that love frankincense, I have it's called Al Hajri. So I'm using Omani frankincense oil, Boswellia sacra. So that one's up there, and that has got patchouli leaves in the top. And I've also got one which is not vegan because all my soap is vegan. I've got one that's obviously still vegetarian, but I'm using goat's milk, and that is a lavender goat's milk with powdered lavender and a little bit of rosemary on top. It is gorgeous. It's quite sharp smelling. It's hard to describe, but it's just it's such a nice experience. And I will say, I'm trying to keep it as ancient, as natural, as I possibly can. And I know a lot of soap makers, they spend a lot of time on the presentation, as in perfectly cut soap. I don't really believe in that. I really love how it would have been done in the ancient times. They wouldn't have had, um, those clean cutting tools, to cut perfect symmetrical pieces of soap. It would have been rough cut. Um, it's a bit like the bazaars and the markets when you go to the Middle East. Everything is so raw and so rough cut and so just real. It's real, and people love that, and people miss that in those market communities, because now when you're in the West, especially with like herbs and powders and things, um, they all have to be contained and like vacuum packed, or basically so no one can breathe on them or put their germs on them or contaminate like these powders and things. Whereas in the Middle East, everything's open in massive big baskets, and I'm sure you've seen it. online on documentaries and things. Everything's like perfectly piled up, and it's just that natural, local, raw um, type of experience, and that's kind of been lost and compromised in this kind of Western culture, which is a real shame. And I just feel like it's getting worse and worse. You know, you can't smoke around restaurants anymore. You can't drink in public places. Not that I do these things, that, but you know, in the Middle Eastern cultures, you can do all that. You know, so people that used to smoke, I used to be a smoker, like a more of a social smoker, but I do and used to love a cigarette. I haven't had one since February, so I was around it the other night when I was visiting a girlfriend, and they were smoking, and even smelling the smoke now, it just makes me feel good that I've stopped, because yeah, there's nothing good about it. Even though it's enjoyable, there's nothing good about it, and I didn't really miss it. But in the Middle East, you know, people would eat their food, they would have a drink, they would have a smoke. It's all about family, like social gatherings, eating and feasting for hours. I mean, uh, it's just such a nice way to live, you know, because people are in such a rush to, you know, especially in restaurants and things, not in Middle Eastern ones, but in typically in other restaurants, you know, oh, when's your booking? It's for 8 o'clock, you know, until 10 o'clock, you know, you've got this little slot thing. Um, and it's all timed, and you know, trying to get the customers in and out as quickly as possible. Same with hair salons. When you go to beauty salons in the Middle East, you could be there for hours and hours, like all day. And and that's just how it is. That's how it is. You know, you're not pushed out. And I remember one time I went into a hair salon here in this country, actually in this state, and this hairdresser, I don't even want to call her that, because she was so detached, and like she made me feel like I was taking her time. I was an inconvenience, and I was too much trouble for her. And I just remember her thrashing through my hair, and I literally just said to her, "Stop. Let me brush my hair. You're hurting me." She's like, "Yeah, I know, but I've got, you know, another appointment coming up, and I've got to get this done really quick." I'm just like, I am never coming to you again. You know, I didn't say that, but my look just said it all. I remember just looking at her in the reflection of the mirror, and I'm just like, never again. So it's just different here. Everything is different. So there are definitely beautiful things that I miss about the Middle Eastern culture. But I'm hoping with the soaps, you know, my soaps and my perfumes, I bring that back, you know, and I know a lot of other business people that are, you know, kind of affiliated with the same thing. Maybe they feel the same way as I do, but my soap is not that beautiful, perfect, symmetrical looking soap. It is raw, as my jewelry is, you know, I want to bring that back, that, you know, that real kind of handmade artisan um, thing, and it's applied with my jewelry as well. I want people to feel like when they have a piece of my jewelry, that basically they found it in the dust and the dirt in the sand that's been sitting there for like thousands of years. It's just that blemished, uneven um, type of jewelry that, just because these days everything is all about perfection and seamless lines and looking the best and appearing the best, and you know, that flawlessness. And I just find that flawlessness so boring. I love the imperfections. I love the roughness of things. Not as in like roughness as in doing a rough job, but like, you know, like handmade, handmade, natural, basic, just good product, just good quality product. And you know, I'm, because I don't have access that so readily in my local environment to make these things instead. It makes me feel less detached from the culture that I used to love and appreciate and be passionate about so much. So anyway, if you have bought my soap, please let me know what you think and be honest about it. And I hope you love it, and I hope you understand where I'm coming from with this. So yeah. Anyway, let's see who's here. Hey, gorgeous people. Ah, I hope my sound is okay. It's so cold today, and my nose just keeps running. I should have had a hanky with me, a handkerchief. You guys, we can hear you. Good. Ballerina Boy says, I know. Sometimes I think about coming back. Everyone is leaving. Makes me sad. Yeah. Ballerina Boy says, oh my God, the lavender goat's milk one sounds amazing. Plus, milk has lactic acid, so it's great to soften and gently exfoliate the skin. You know what? I'm actually, let me just go get a piece. I'm talking about it, and I'm not even like, let me show you. How about that? So here is, hold on, let me just bring this back. Oh my gosh, it just smells so, I don't know, it smells so like lavendery, but then it's got like a toasted marshmallow smell to it with a sharpness of the rosemary powder. Can you see it? So I mean this is the goat's milk one, the goat's milk and lavender. So you can obviously see the nice grain in that, and there's the powder on the top. But it's just it hardened up. Like the saponification process was so quick with this soap, and it was so easy to cut because some of these soaps, especially, I'll show you this one, and this one. How about I just grab every single one so I can explain it? Um, this one here, my Kakumi. No, is this my Kakumi? This is, yes, it is Kakumi. This one has taken a long time to harden because it's got so much fats in it, like really good fats. So it's a soft soap. Um, the fat content is much, well, it's not so much that it's higher. It's the essential oils that have essential oils can either accelerate the saponification process or make the saponification process much slower to make the soap hard. But this is Kokumi, and this has got nigella seed. This has got straight like lavender bud in there, and like whole rosemary sprigs, and that smells beautiful. Like it's got a real floral scent. Now this is the one that's not on my website. This is the shea butter, and just touching this, it is just leaving like shea butter residue on this, even though it's set. This one's saponified or set so quickly because of the is that working with the light? Maybe not so much. This is a chunky, fatty soap, and it just feels incredible. So I know to use this, it's gonna leave your skin feeling amazing, and it's got that real licorice aniseed smell. So if you're a licorice fan, I'm not, but if you are, that's your soap. It's got a real like fennel. It smells like fennel. Oh, this is my Anki soap. So this is the only one that's unscented, and that's like a hard bar of soap. So that's for those that are not necessarily stuck on the scent side of things, but like the quality within what soap brings. A good lather, just making your skin feel really good. So that's my Anki. This is for those. This is called the Susa. This is the Susa. So this is for those that love warming spices. This is the essential oils are sweet orange, What else did I use? Clove, and it's dusted with cinnamon powder. So it's got a really yummy, it smells so delicious. So those together, you know what it's like on Christmas trees when you have oranges pierced with clove. I mean, it just smells amazing. So if you like your warming spices, Susa is your soap. And this one actually was took a while to harden up as well. This one is your El Hajri, and this is like full potent frankincense smell. So if you are mad for frankincense, this is your soap. And on top, it's got patchouli leaves. And patchouli leaves in general just smell amazing. So this is your real kind of, yeah, like earthy, really earthy, beautiful, kind of sweet smelling, like Al Hajri, like Omani frankincense is top of the line, and it just smells incredible. This one took a while to harden up. This was the first soap I did, and this has my garden, Noor Gardens rose petals. Um, and so it's got a real kind of soft florally scent, which is vetiver, lang lang, and cedarwood. Cedarwood would have to be one of my favorite essential oils, and blending that with a floral like lang lang, and then a base note like vetiver. I mean, if you know your essential oils, you'll know what I'm talking about, and it's just pretty. It's got that nice contrast. I just love the natural aspect of it, um, and this is the hardest. Actually, no, this and Anki would have to be the hardest. Um, but it's just a plain kind of white looking soap, and this is my kind of limited edition, and this is called Tanta, and Tanta. Can you see the yellow in that? So, and there's a little bit of yellow on top. That's geranium and wattle. I don't think wattle is native to anywhere but Australia. Maybe I'm wrong. But at least this Australian native wattle, it is beautiful, and it's in season right now. So I've included it in this soap. And Tanta is champaca and vanilla. Is there anything else in that? I'll have to have a look. Mixed up, and it's just emulsified so well with the wattle and the geranium, and actually the wattle has reacted to the saponification process because it's kind of changed color and dyed the soap, but it's created this incredible marbleized effect, which I really love. So, like I have all these different soaps, and it's addictive, and once you start, or at least for me, it's very hard to stop, and I enjoy the process so much. And in many ways, it's another cheaper way that people who have wanted to experience my perfumes and my scents and incense and things that I offer, you can experience it through soaps at a much affordable, um, price. And another thing is, even though the soaps don't have I've seen what some soap makers have done online, and I totally respect what they're doing. But one thing I will never use with my soap is mica. And the reason I'm not using mica is because if you do your mica research, you will realize that mica is a product much like tin, much like cobalt, much like salt. Not so much salt, but these products are mined in impoverished conditions, usually with children, and I do not support that industry at all. And like I've said before in a previous video, you just don't know where your product is coming from unless it is locally sourced. And I would hate to think if I use mica in these soaps knowing that it came from the hands of child slavery, child labor, kids as young as 3 and 4 years old being sent to work in these dangerous mica mines. Children are dying in these mines all the time, and because the mine, like the holes are small, the kids can fit in there. And even though these big companies that use mica are saying, oh, our mica is ethnically sourced, it doesn't mean that it is, because even though these agents, these brokers, the in between people that are local to these mica mines, they can tell you anything you want to hear, and any kind of young person around these mine sites, something suspicious is up. So there are a lot of companies that turn a blind eye. They don't want to know. They're ignorant. And I choose not to be a part of that industry because so mica is in everything. Mica is in your makeup products. Mica is in soap. I won't use it because I don't know where it comes from. Even if someone says it's ethically sourced, not unless I see it myself. I won't be supporting it. So this is how my soap is going to look without colorings. But even some of these natural products have their own pigments in there, and color the soap. I don't feel like I need to make the soap look any more prettier because it's natural, it's organic, and it's ancient looking. Because back in the day, they wouldn't have used colorings unless, like mica colorings, unless they had it themselves. They would have used natural plant dyes and maybe ochres and clays and things like that. Even flowers have natural, like I said, like dyes and things. And even essential oils, they react to fats in such a certain way. They You can see the color. Look at this frankincense. Frankincense is not really a dark oil, but look what it's done to the soap. Combined with the patchouli, it's made the soap brown. Same with this Susa soap, sweet orange. It's kind of gone brown, and the oils are quite translucent. So you it's kind of a gamble, and it's really fun. But if you're into good quality, then I think that's what the most important thing is good quality and locally sourced, conscious made product. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it anyway. Ah, hello, gorgeous people. Oh, cry for the moon. Hi. Ballerina Boy says Cleopatra was said to have bathed in milk to make her skin soft. I believe it because obviously in these old Middle Eastern cultures, beauty was and it still is such a major thing. And I mean, if she had access to, surplus milk, I believe it. But, actually, probably her and her sister, Asinaway. Asinaway is the less known one, but there was some real conflict between Cleopatra and Asinaway, if you've ever heard of it. And Cleopatra is not as innocent as what, as she's glorified to be. Because, in fact, it's speculated that she murdered or had her sister murdered while she was exiled. So there's always scandal in these big families. There definitely is. There's so much scandal going on now in the Middle East. If you haven't heard. Oh, thank you so much, Kathleen. Hey, my girl. Hi from New Zealand. Soap looks great. Oh, you're so sweet. Joey says, "Do you have lavender scented soap?" Yes, this is my lavender scented. This is the goat's milk lavender soap. It doesn't look all white and nice, but it smells amazing. That's my lavender. Oh, look, you've already answered it for me. Rose Lady Asgard says, I used to make love. I used to make love. I love the aroma of lavender. It's amazing in soap. Oh, down under Pharaoh's here. How dare you parade this soap around at lunchtime? It looks so delicious. It's making me hungry. It would almost be good enough to eat. It's a shame that you couldn't actually make, or maybe you could. No, you couldn't make a soap because lye, you have to use lye, and lye is very caustic. It isn't after the saponification process has happened, but you don't want to eat soap. I know it looks good. It looks good enough to eat. It's just so cakey and thick and rich and beautiful. But it's the whole lye process. And actually, I may try it because I've got surplus ash, but you can actually make your own lye. Let me just put the video back. No, you can't see my lye. Let me just bring it over. Maybe, can you see my lye? Oh, there. Lye, it's yeah, highly caustic, and you got to do all the blending outside. But lye back in the olden days, in the ancient days, and this is how I think the ancients would have done it, is you make it out of ash, out of wood ash, and you basically boil it in water for a good time, and then once it clears and it sets when it's boiled, you test it by putting something in it that floats, and that lye is caustic and it's ready for soap making. So they probably would have done it like that back in the day. It's incredible at the chemical reactions when you combine water with ash, of all things. But that's what I mean. Whenever there is a synthetic version, you have to know there is a natural version. And the ancients would have known all about this. It's just that we've lost these arts as we've developed into a industrial combustive synthetic type of industry now, because that's all that we know, and you really have to do research to find out the other natural ways. But the internet has been fantastic for that because you can research. Ballerina Boy says, "Oh, Refinery 29 published a video recently on mica mining. You can find it here on YouTube. I may have actually watched one of those as well. Refinery 21, 29 is, yeah, they do report on a lot of these types of things, and I'll have to check it out. But, um, they kind of dish the dirt on the truth of these things, and otherwise people don't know. How else would people know that, especially if you live in the US and you never visited these other countries, especially in Africa or, like on the borders of India and Pakistan? How would you know about these things, especially the mines? They're not on the tourist routes. You would never know about these places unless you really researched it and maybe had permits, or do you know what I mean? Like a lot of these sites and places and, mines, they're out of bounds. They're guarded, they'd be heavily secured. Like, you just wouldn't even know about it. You wouldn't know about it. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you like the look of the soaps. My girl Brit's here. Thank you so much for your order, by the way. My ancient soul woman, I'm so excited, just placed a very special order this evening from your shop, which does include your gorgeous new soap. I'm sure I'll be back for a lot more. Oh, I hope you love it. Thank you so much. Um, it'll be trial and error, but how can you go wrong when you already, like, if the blend of the essential oil smells good, well, it's going to smell good in the soap. But I will say the smell kind of does change through that chemical emulsification process, but it does smell really good. It does smell really good. It can change, it doesn't always change. Rose Asgard says soaps without artificial flavors are magical. I think so too, because any flavors, um, I know there are some artisans or soap makers or people in general that will just want the smell, not so much, where it comes from, if it's synthetic, if it's chemical. They're more about appearances and the smells in order to get more product sold. But I'm about keeping my products honest and as transparent as possible. Um, and I think this day and age, people are desiring the more natural product, don't you think? I think so. In a world of so much, phoniness, I think people want to go back to the raw, rough, simplistic, basic, good quality type stuff. That's what I think. I think so. I don't know. I don't know what the general consensus is, but I think that's what it is. But you know, because even just good natural produce is so hard to come by these days. What's it been farmed with? What chemical sprays have been put on? And if you want to buy organic, you pay through the roof for it. So this is why I say to people, start, you know, get some land somewhere, get some soil. If you have a backyard with grass, cut it up and start planting a veggie garden. And even if you have a tiny space, I have seen some awesome accounts and documentaries of people in urban areas making the most incredible vegetable gardens and fruit gardens and things. In fact, actually, later after I get off this live stream, girl, look at me. You see, I'm in my farm clothes. I'll be out cementing post holes, even though it's cold and it will take hours for the concrete to set. I got to do it. The weather is cold because if I do this hard yakka kind of work when it's hot, I'm going to be, I'm not going to be too happy about it. And, don't want snakes around, and I've got to get it done because I've got to start building the frame for this greenhouse. And so I'm going to be putting all my little seedlings in this seed house. And if you can see behind me, nope, this side maybe, nope, no, I'm trying to see if I can see that glass there. That glass is going in the greenhouse. So the glass it's going to be like a glass house, a little greenhouse. Maybe I have a picture. No, if I just quickly, I'm going to show you what I'm doing. You see this phone? Actually, that's one thing I did do. Was I've bought a new phone. Hallelujah! It is a miracle. I've had to because this phone. Do you see this? I've got it on this charge cord like all the time, every day, because I literally have to charge this damn thing 20 times a day. I have finally succumbed to, you know, the impatience that I feel with this phone, and I've bought myself an iPhone 6. It's like this refurbished thing, apparently. I don't know too much about it right now, but I've ordered it, so maybe in the next few days I will get it because I've tolerated this old phone enough, I think. And as sad as it is, it's done its job, it's paid its dues, and it's time for a new phone. But anyway, I'm gonna plug this in here for a minute, and I just want to bring up this picture, hopefully. Sorry about that. Let me just bring this up, and I'm gonna just show you what I'm doing with this glass house so you get an idea. But I've just got to transfer this picture quickly. Okay. Yeah, actually, so yesterday the reptiles are out, and I'm going to show you. Actually, you'll see it on my Instagram. If you follow my Instagram, you'll see it on there. But if you don't follow me on there, let me just quickly get this for you. And, okay. So I found two sleepy lizards, and if you don't know what sleepy lizards are, they are blue-tongued skunks or skinks. And I found two yesterday, and yesterday it was cold. So I would hate to think what's around when it's warm. So I've got to do this cement work like now, this afternoon. So let me bring up the picture here. This is what it looks like. Well, in a minute. 1 second. Okay. This is, yeah, it's gonna look good, but it's definitely some work. It's definitely some work, and I don't know. I'm kind of gonna cruise with it as I go along. Whoop, the picture's too big. Hold on, I'm just bringing it down. Can you guys see that? Maybe. Sorry about that. Here we go. So you can see the concrete block that I've got going on here. I had all these sleepers along here. I've pulled them all off so I can make a stairway up. And then I'm going to build this frame all up around here. So that's going to be my little That's going to be my little greenhouse because I've got so many seedlings, and I'm sure you've probably seen all the containers that I've been using to kind of incubate them, but it's not cutting it anymore, and it's getting hot, and the plants need circulation. They need air circulation. It gets too hot under there, and they will steam, and we don't want that. So that's going to be this afternoon. I also have to plant some more rose cuttings, which have callus and have some nice roots on them. But I've got to get it done. I've got to get it done before it warms up because this cold weather right now, it's only going to last for the next 2 days. I've got to get shit done. Oh, goodness. Ballerina Boy says, I would love to see a video on how you recommend blending oils. I feel like it can be tricky, especially preserving them. Yeah, you know what? It takes, well, for me, um, I think because I've had that Middle Eastern background, I've come into blending my own oils, already having that experience within the Middle East. Otherwise, it's trial and error, and you've got to know your oils. You've got to be able to pick up a canister of oil and know what it is just by scent without even looking at the label. Like, that's how well you have to know your oils. And then it's about, intuitively blending. And some blends may work and some may not, but that's the whole point of trying. And, some things that you would never think would smell good together are incredible. So it's just about that trial and error. And it's a whole nother world. If you're willing to invest in that and learn about that, it's never ending, a bit like soap making. Yeah, that's right. Sometimes I read books that recommend oils that I can't find anywhere, like heliotrope or hyacinth essential oil. And I'm like, where do I get that? Yeah. Oh, I feel you. Yeah, yeah. And that's another thing is finding reputable sources of the oils. I have spent years sourcing good product and knowing you're not getting ripped off and knowing it comes from a legitimate source, an organic source, it's being certified. That's a whole different subject, and that can be very frustrating, and it can be annoying. It can definitely test your patience just because you really have to know your product. You have to know your product. Slavic Devil is here. Tomboy and Butterflies is here. Hello there. Oh, thanks, Slavic Devil. Hey, Andulairah, I absolutely adore you and your channel. I'm so interested in a reading, but I do not have a webcam. Is there any way to get around it, or does it have to be a live video? No, we can absolutely do an audio one if you want to do an audio one. Do you have a web thing on your phone, like a video cam on your phone that maybe you can use? It's up to you. We don't have to do it by video, but it's totally up to you. If you have access to it on your phone, okay. Even through I don't know, like if you don't have a web, uh, what is it? A webcam, yeah. Um, Usually with phones these days, you can get video, like there's an automatic camera on that, but send me an email. Send me an email through eluan.com in the contact section, or just at andulairah@live.com.au, and we'll see if we can work something out. Joey says, girl, we are close to winter here. I hate winter. My gosh, I've been lapping up the winter, and even though it is cold here, and the winter is hard here, I am not bitching because I would take this weather to work in any day over the heat, because once it gets hot, I'm basically confined to being indoors until sunset, and then I can go out in my garden, just because it is so hot. It is so hot. And it's not just that, the sun is so blinding in this country. Like when you're in that heat, it's just blinding. So it's cellar work for me in the summer. It's cement work for me in the summer. Everything indoors. It's just hot. It's hot. It's hot. So I am lapping up the final moments of this winter for sure. Slavic Devil says, I love winter, though I was born in January and my surname means winter in Czech. Britt says, kind of amazing how all of us are here on the live stream, clearly having something in common. Otherwise, we wouldn't all be here. We adore you, Andulairah. Oh, you're so sweet. And that's it. You know, a lot of you guys, and I know this from personally speaking to you, is that you've connected with each other off, off, like offline. But I think we all just come together with similar passions and similar dreams and ideals. And it's great when you find a group, you know, a bunch of awesome people that, you know, we can all kind of just bounce around on these same subjects. And it's great, you know, because there is no judgment, there is no categorization. And I think that's wonderful. Tomboy says, that's what I've got. Six. Six what? No, I'm not understanding. Joey says, Andulairah, that video for I Need to Dance Down Here got me shook, girl. You were working those swimming moves. Oh my gosh. And that's it, you know. Oh my gosh. My music and my videos are so basic. They're so funny. I know they're crazy. I know they're just ridiculous, but who cares? They're so much fun to do, and you know, it just that's me. I've never stopped doing what I do, and even with my dancing videos, I don't care if I look ridiculous. I feel good. Makes me feel good. I love dancing. You should see me when I'm dancing on my own. In fact, I should do a dancing video soon. I haven't done one for a long time. Well, not like, you know, I need to dance down here, but you know, like proper dance. Because it does. It just, I don't know, just warms my heart, makes me feel good, makes me feel connected. Dancing just connects you to those other realms. Oh, ballerina boy. Yes, we adore you. Been watching you chat your channel forever. I know, honey. Gosh, we go back a long time, ballerina boy. It's been like how many years? Like I remember you when you first started watching my channel, when my channel was so young. I mean, the old channel. That was years ago. Years ago. Yeah, wow. It's unreal, isn't it? How the time just goes. iPhone 6. Oh, okay. Tomboy is saying she's got an iPhone 6. Well, this is an iPhone 4 and it's just dying. See, I've got it plugged in now. I'm going to take it out, but it says I've got a full, well, almost full battery. That'll last a good 5 minutes. If I was to ever do a live stream with this phone, it'll be over in 30 seconds. There's no way I could do one with this phone, but maybe I could with the new iPhone because, you know, I'd love to try and do a live stream out in my garden. Whether or not my internet connection goes that far, I'm not too sure, but um, you know, like you're kind of confined indoors with your computer. Even this computer, I have to do something about this computer because it's on its way out. And as soon as I unplug the cord from this computer, it's gone. So, you know, I can't even walk around with it doing a live stream. It would be cut immediately. So that's how much the battery has shit itself in this computer. The keys are melted off, some of them, like it starts to seize up as soon as it gets a little bit hot. I mean, the processing speed's really kind of slow now. It drags. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. What to do? Ballerina Boy says, I remember the first video I watched from you was the Invoke. Wow, my gosh, that was so old. I'll have to see if I can dust the cobwebs off that one and re-upload it. Oh, you're so sweet. My goodness. Yeah, so this is what it's all about, you know, just coming together, sharing different subjects. And I know, you know what, I know a lot of things I share, it's not A lot of people aren't going to like it, you know. And then a lot of people in general just don't like me. I get that. I get some people just either gel with what I say or me in general, or they don't, and that's obvious. And I see that with some of the comments written by people. Not so much these days, but I found that I had a lot of that in my younger years on YouTube, and it was unbelievable. And it's just a couple of people that used to just I don't know, I must have bugged the hell out of them and get under their skin, and they would send me so many hateful, spiteful, negative comments, and I'm just like, where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? You know, they're trying to hurt me. They're trying to make themselves feel better by inflicting so much, you know, throwing and spitting so much negativity. I'm just like, wow, they got some real issues they need to work out. And that's the thing. Like, if someone bugs you out, or if someone is throwing you negativity, or is just being, you know, rat shit awful to you, like, sorry, I just thought someone was pulling up. If someone is being like that with you, like, you honestly have to ask yourself, um, what is it they're dealing with? Why is it coming on you? You're obviously triggering something within them that, you know, they can't deal with and that they need to. And um, you know, like, it's and I agree. There are people that I would rather, you know, not be around. It doesn't mean you have to hate them or dislike them, but you've got to realize that there are so many different energies and people in the world that, you know, some you're going to really blend with and melt together with, and there are others that are just going to, you know, rub you the wrong way. And what can you do? It's all about energy frequency. It's all about attraction and not being attracted to somebody. And so you are going to be naturally pulled and magnetized towards those people that you share common ideals with, you share common passions with, and you know, you kind of just share that just common ground with people, and you feel a kinship with people. And it's not going to come with everybody. I know, because I've had my own experience. You know, even just with people here in general, and it's just like, if someone is just wanting my attention, like, especially, I would say, just with one instance here, it's just like, oh my gosh, can you stop coming to my house, please? Because it's so painful for me when they come here, because their energy is so heavy and lagging, and nothing is ever good enough for them, and the glass is always empty, kind of thing. And when you ask them, oh, how was your day? Oh, you know, shit. And it's always shit. And I just think, you know what the hell's your problem? Get over yourself. Get on with life. If it's not good, fix it. Fix it. But it's the same scenario every time. You know, when you ask them how they are, it's like, you know, they're so hard done by, and life is so hard, and it's always like this. Well, it is always going to be like that if you have that attitude. Oh, my chickens are calling out. So, do you know what I mean? Like, there's always going to people that are going to bug you out and get under your skin, but you just don't give it any more energy than what it needs to be. You just let it flow through you, and don't hold on to it. Don't manifest it anymore. Don't give it a second thought. And if there are people like that that really bug you, that's what you got to do. You know, you just got to let it pass through you. Don't feed it. Don't reinforce it. And I know it's hard, because especially if they're family members, that really, you know, piss you off and make you roll your eyes. And you know, they can be very condescending, they can be very immature, they can be maybe just very loud and crazy and reckless. And you know, there's so many dynamics with people that can just set you off. But that's when you've really got to learn how to, you know, keep your boundaries up, and just um, let it flow through you. Don't engage it or manifest it more than what it needs to be. Because the more you do, the more you're going to attract more and more of that into, into your being. Um, it's actually, I there was this really years ago, and I mean, I've if we're going to talk about, I'd hate to sound so shallow about things or superficial, but um, back in the Middle East, I knew this girl who was a very good friend of mine who was inexplicably just stunningly gorgeous, just aesthetically just stunningly beautiful, and her personality. And this is the thing that gets under people's skin, is that she was just such a beautiful person as well inside. So not only was she just gorgeous on the outside, like so beautiful on the outside, she was so more beautiful on the inside. Just such a gentle, sweet natured, lovely person. And this poor girl just seemed to be just rife with having so many issues with people, especially women, more so with women. Women hated her, hated her. They just couldn't stand her because, that jealousy that got into women, especially these Middle Eastern women, because beauty is everything over there. And when you saw this girl, she would literally have, guys' eyeballs falling out, drool, having to be wiped off the floor. She was just stunning, stunningly gorgeous. And women hated the attention that she used to get. And she used to get it without even her knowing it. She might have been shopping or something or doing something, totally minding her own business. And yet she would just, draw this attention, so naively. And she was covered, she was a Muslim girl. She is a Muslim girl, and very conservative. And yet she would still just draw in this attention, and women just hated her. If there was a women's event like a birthday or a marriage celebration, they celebrate marriage separately. The women get together and have a big party, and this is when all the veils come off, all the abayas come off, and women are in their diamonds dripping with jewelry and their best clothes and silk, beautiful, jalabias and dresses and gowns and whatever. Um, this girl would just outshine anybody. And the women, you would see them looking at her and talking behind her back and laughing and snickering because she was breathtaking. And they didn't know how else to deal with it. Not everyone, because there are some beautiful, people women that would go up to her and just say, "My gosh, you are stunning. You are just magic." There were some people that could see it for how it was, but there are others that just hated her. She even had people doing magic on her, black magic. And, she would, when we found this out, um, it was actually at the door of her apartment. Someone had buried something at the stairs. Um, it's not surprising because she did get that attention, and it just seems so unfair because she didn't she didn't want the attention, and it would just bring the worst out of people. And I just think that, people like this, they don't even mean to do it, but it can just either bring the best or the worst out of people. And obviously it was something. Uh-oh, are we still online? What's happened? Oh no. I think, am I still here? Okay, I'm gonna keep talking because it says I'm still green, so I'm hoping I'm still here. Um, anyway, she brought the worst out of people. And she didn't know what she did wrong, and she was always, she was always upset by it. She always seemed to have drama. Not that she wanted it, but you know, you would hear the awful things that people would say, and anyone to look at her would think she would have the most incredible life, and she'd have, you know, um, everything she wanted because she could have everything she wanted. She was having marriage proposals left, right, and center, and I mean from everyone. But you know, the problems that she was faced with because of her beauty, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how the worst is brought out in people when there's someone like that around. But that's what I mean. You just don't know what triggers people to act these ways, and that's the world we live in. We live in such a dynamic, convoluted, crazy type of place, and humans, we just have to work things out. And you know, a lot of people don't see the bigger picture and don't realize that we're in these games together, and we need to work out emotions, and we need to work out why we feel so jealous or so bad about someone, or feel like we hate someone so much, or why we love someone so much, why we can't get over someone so much. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so dynamic. This life experience here on this planet is so condensed. It's so concentrated. It's so accelerated. Uh, so you know, like I haven't spoken to that girl for years. So, and I should really, I should reach out to her, but she's probably got different contact details now. But I hope she's happy. I hope she managed to find happiness and settle down. All she wanted was to get married to a very nice guy. You know, she didn't care about money. She didn't care about prestige or anything. She just wanted a genuine guy that would love her. And she had just had so much drama with so many people. And, you know, it just seems so unwarranted for someone so beautiful. But that's how life can be. That's how life can be. ah. Brett says, any new recipe videos coming soon? Girl, you are making me hungry. I still haven't eaten anything yet today. I did make a beautiful Arabic. It's not baba ganoush, but it was kind of like a. I won't say it's not even a biryani kind of dish because there was no meat in it. But I have it with labneh and Lebanese flatbread, and if I keep eating it, I will just blow out. I did eat it yesterday, but today I feel like I got to give myself a bit of a juice cleanse. So I'm gonna go make a lemon juice after this live stream, and then I'm gonna get into this cementing, which I'm kind of putting off, but I've got to do it. I've got to do it. There are no excuses. I've been waiting for this cold weather because I've seen it on the weather map for the last 4 days. I have got to do the cementing today. So I'm probably just going to make a lemonade thing today. Might have a piece of cheese later. I don't know. I'm very intuitive. If I want to eat, I will, but I don't feel like cooking today. So we'll see. Leah says, why do you think bad things keep happening to good people? I don't know. Like I said, you know, she was probably one of the sweetest, most beautiful, generous people I knew, and stunningly gorgeous. And yet her life was rife with drama. She could never have any, you know, really decent, beautiful friends because of the jealousy that she was always faced with. And you know, maybe she needed to take a step back and, you know, work out why she decided to experience this and be a part of this. I'm not sure, but, you know, the world's a funny old place, and people can be mean and very nasty, and for no reason, just because they're jealous. You know, simply, that's simply how it is. Or if someone's doing better than somebody else, you know, it's when people are down on their ass and they're not doing well, people are quick to pick you up and say, yeah, you know, you're going to be okay. And they have your help and support. But as soon as you're doing better than, you know, better than those people or better than someone, people are quick to tear your ass back down. It's such a dichotomy. It's so crazy how it works. Tomboy says you should get a portable charger. I have three different sizes called Rav Power. Two fit in my pocket. People's phones can be dying around me, but I always have power. Girl, you are so sorted. Actually, when I was at this funeral a couple of weeks ago, um, a family friend had a portable charger because my phone died up there, like in this at this funeral service. And she's like, "Oh wait, I've got a charger." And I'm just like, well, "Do I need a cord to plug it in the wall?" She's like, "No, no, just put your phone on top." I'm like, "What? Are you serious?" And I did. I just put my phone on top and it charged somehow. I don't know how, but it did. It was a Signet or something like that, called a Signet. Ballerina Boy says, jealousy is rampant. I wear an evil eye pendant to keep negative energy away from me. And I feel like when people see it, they tend to keep to themselves more. Good. So they should. And in fact, I wish I could have helped her more. I wish I could have, and I would pray for her, and send her some, protection, but she needed to do it herself. And of course, her being, she's a devout Muslim, any kind of talk of magic, as much as Muslim and, that Islamic culture loves magic, they'll never believe it and believe it's haram. It's the work of shaitan, basically the devil. Um, but yet they're still fascinated with it, and yet they still practice it. So it's just a very suspicious kind of culture, that is steeped with with magic and the use of magic. Even though it's all kept hush hush. So even though people in these cultures are practicing it, if you're caught doing it, you will be thrown in jail. Hence another reason why I am, over in this country, because um, I don't want to risk, myself getting thrown in jail. When I look back at all the things, that I did and what I was talking about online over in those countries, I just think, my God, I could have so been thrown in jail so many times. So many times. Tomboy said, I'm starving, but you went live. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm starving too. No, I'm not really too hungry, but I'm a little bit hungry. Yeah. You have to be careful. People are crazy with envy and wanting to make others miserable. And why? Why, right? Mando Desconhecido is here. Joey says, I hate people that envy others for no apparent reason. Sometimes you just have to retaliate. Yeah, sometimes you feel like you want to get involved. And sometimes they need it. They need your, retaliation in order for them to gain clarity. But you can retaliate in a decent way and just be honest about it. You don't have to, you know what I mean? You don't have to be like them and be derogatory or like them, but you can point out and say how you honestly feel. Why are you doing this? Why do you have so much hate and jealousy towards this person? How is it doing any good? So like pointing out the fact, um, probably would do them a world of good because they'd probably deny it. Oh, the weird thing is, I could relate to that girl so much, but I don't feel beautiful at all. I don't even think she did either. I don't even think she did. I don't even feel like she knew her own beauty, but she was stunning. Like, she didn't wear much makeup. I don't think I ever saw her, like with even fake lashes on or anything like that. Like, she didn't need to. You just get some of those people that are just so naturally beautiful. Whereas you have, some people that just spend hours and hours getting ready in the morning. She was just so oblivious to her own beauty. And that's usually how it is with really stunningly physically attractive people. They're oblivious to it. Some are, some aren't. Some of them, are kind of, um, kind of wallow in their own self gratification. But, we obviously, social media and the likes of Instagram have helped that so much. Is it not so obvious? the amount of self absorption and narcissism and vanity on Instagram, my God, it's unbelievable. If anything, Instagram does a fantastic job, a fabulous job at revealing people's insecurities. End of story. You see it. It's so obvious. People wanting to be seen with brand names or taking a selfie and making sure they show the back seat of a cover if it says B for Bentley or RR for Rolls Royce, or making sure when they're holding the steering wheel, you get to see the Mercedes symbol, which basically says, I'm rich, I'm well off, and I'm doing so well with my life. My life. How about you? Basically, people need to satiate that insecurity, and that's all it shows, because people that are comfortable and people that don't have insecurity but are well off and are doing well for themselves, they they are modest and they're polite, and you would never see them flaunting shit like that. I know that from personal experience. Like, you just don't see them doing that. It's usually the people that want to prove something, either to themselves or to the world, to show, like, hey, I'm special. I'm doing really well. Look at how fabulous and beautiful and incredible my life is. How about yours? Kind of thing. So it's easy to avoid looking at those kind of things on Instagram if you filter out your feed and stick with positive, uplifting things. At least for me, mine is centered around gardening and gardeners, and I get inspired by seeing other people's ideas with gardens and things like that. But then there's that ugly side of Instagram that people just start feeling so awful about themselves and start questioning their own self-worth, and makes them feel unsuccessful with life and unattractive and no good. And it starts this snowballing effect of um, self-doubt and humiliation, self-loathing. It's awful. That's the ugly side of Instagram. So if you can channel your social media so it's a positive, uplifted environment, I think that's a very positive connection that you have with the world. But it's when it's focused on all these narcissistic and vanity and keeping up with appearances, and that's when it's negative and it's not helping anybody, especially not yourself. So um, I think if you can learn to filter what it is that you see, and realize it is just a show, it is just a facade, it is really revealing people's insecurities, I think that would give more power to you and make you feel that you can accept yourself more. Hey, Nathan. Yeah, I totally agree, says Slavic Devil. My parents are well off and they never buy brand names. They work hard for their money and don't feel the need to show it off. Nathan says, I'm trying to get crafty myself, need to figure out what I should create. Yeah. You know what? You're exactly right, Slavic Devil. And even me, uh, I know people that are extremely well off, and they have no interest. I mean, they drive like Toyotas. Do you know what I mean? Like, they have no interest in in brands, and even if they do, like, have a nice car, it's not for the show thing. You would never see them taking pictures of themselves sitting on the bonnet of a, you know, ghost, what is it, a ghost phantom? I don't even know what it's called, like a phantom ghost or whatever they're called, or a Lamborghini. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so, it's just so impolite. I think it's so impolite. It's just so flamboyant, and it is obvious that you need to appease yourself and satiate your own insecurity. And it's obvious that people that do this have not come, well, not all the time, but most of the time, it's obvious that people that do this have not come from money, or don't don't know what it's like to have some serious, you know, wealth. Um, Not all the time, and um, even with people that don't have cash and they want to be associated with cars like this, or objects like this, they might borrow it or they might rent it just to get the picture to show that they're special. And people are just naturally magnetized to people that have wealth and power like that. I don't know why humans have always had that fascination, feeling like they can get a leg up on people in the world. I don't know, but not everyone that has wealth like that acts like that. And I know that from personal experience. So, it's kind of obvious, right? Brent Ems Willer is here. Hey, Brent, Albert is here. I finally caught you live. I'm just doing your guided meditation on the hammock here in Palm Springs, California, while on vacation. So thank you. You are so welcome. Slavic Devil says exactly. People with money who work for it usually know how to keep it. My parents drive Jeeps, not Mercedes. Ah. Oh no. Well, Toyotas are awesome. Oh, Albert, I'm sorry that you feel like this sucks. I don't know. Uh, Ballerina Boy's going to bed. Just wanted to say it was great to see your beautiful face. Oh, you're so sweet. Yeah. So anyway, I think it's all about in this day and age. Just to kind of sum things up, um, you need to you know filter your world, filter your reality, choose what it is that you want to listen to, choose what it is that you want to visualize, choose what it is that you want to see in the world, and be that example. Live that example. What is important to you? I mean, if having a lot of money is important to you, then more power to you. But is it really going to um, satiate you in the end unless you use it for a good cause? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a bit like water. Money is a bit like water. Wealth is a bit like water. It comes and goes, but it's always going to be around the world. It's not going anywhere, and it's just a matter of it's just channeled wherever it needs to go, and it does not discriminate whether you're a good person or a bad person, or I don't know, like money on this planet at least seems to buy justice. Money seems to buy equality. um, you can get away with anything with money, and people have. So anyway, I think it's all about creating your own conscious filtration system. Gosh, that sounds good, doesn't it? Slavic Devil says, can we get an updated house tour someday? I love how your home looks from the small glimpses I've seen. It looks very ancient world with the stone walls and tapestries. Yeah, it is. It's coming along. I mean, this workshop's kind of. I don't like the white walls, and maybe next year sometime I will start removing the render off of this workshop. But again, it's a massive asshole job. So I've got to finish this part first, and I'm still waiting for my curtain rods for my tapestries to turn up. I don't know where they are, but anyway, hopefully they'll come here soon. But this indoor place is summer work when it's hot outside. So yeah, hopefully I can give an update, and yeah. Anyway, I think it's time I leave this live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm gonna go out and check on my chickens, um, and get out and start this concreting. So I've got my get up on. Farmer A has her clothes ready to go. I'm gonna go make a lemonade first. Maybe I'll have some cheese. I feel like some cheese. I actually made some Russian toffee last night. Love, love, love that. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this live feed. And until next time, may you always be blessed by the supreme love and truth of the cosmos, as always. Love you guys. Good night, good day, wherever you are in the world. Love you.